Hello and welcome back to school. I hope you all had a wonderful vacation. Today, our objective is to create a still life experience of vases inspired by ceramicist Johann Miro. And we will reach our success criteria when we can draw a composition of these psychedelic vases, right? Using symmetry and value. So Johann Miro is a great, phenomenal artist. I just want to share my screen with you all so that you can see some of his work. So here is some of his work. So as you can see, there's symmetry on both sides of his vases. Like on this side, you see that there's like a curved line and then it curves out on the other side. So symmetry is when one side matches the other. When you cut right straight down the middle, one side matches the other. So one side of this yellow vase is exactly the same as the other side. You probably heard that during math symmetry, right? When you cut the geometric shapes in half, right? They're equal, they match. So symmetry is when you cut and the sides match. The left side matches the right side. So here you can see another line, a curvy line, and you can see how that curved line is matched to this line on the top. And you can see here's another one, his vessels, his vase, where it has a skinny top, and then here's that curved line on this side, and it matches the curved line on that side. And the other one's the same thing. It's a different kind of vase, but you can still see how both sides are symmetrical, right? They match. So now we are going to create our still life of these psychedelic vases that are symmetrical. So here we go. I hope we have a pencil, right? A pencil ready. So we're going to start. Just come over here. I'm going to start by folding my paper. So I'm going to start by folding my paper in half. I'm holding my paper the landscape way, the long way from left to right. So I'm folding in half. Right? I'm going to open it back up. And then I'm going to fold that part, the one half, I'm going to fold it again so it meets the middle. So this is going to be our vertical line that we will draw our symmetrical vases around. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. I'm going to bring that in and fold it right to the center of my paper, that center fold that we created already. So what you end up with is 3 different lines of symmetry that we're going to create our vases on. So okay, so here's our first vase. Now you can create that same curvy line. I'm going to take my Sharpie and we're going to create a curvy line like somewhere starting from the middle of my paper. So I'm just going to take my curvy line and bring it right to that center line. So now I'm going to make it symmetrical by drawing the reflection, the same type of line on the other side. So I'm going to go in to make that reflection and then come right back out, right? And so because these are vases, I'm going to create my curved line to connect the top part, and then another curved line going the opposite way to connect that part. So that's our first symmetrical vase, right? Here's another one we can do, like maybe I'll do a skinny one here, like of a little curvy line like that, right? And that one is right in the middle. And I'm going to create that same type of line on the other side that is symmetrical, right? So it looks somewhat symmetrical. And I'm going to create that top, the lip of my vase. And so here's another one. We're going to create the next one. We can do a different type of line for a different type of, I'm just going to do a straight line and then come through with the half circle, right? End it there. And then on the other side of that fold, I'm going to create a straight line going down and then come through with that half circle on the other side. So now our vases look symmetrical, right? Let me just put the lip on my vase. So the top opening of a vase is called the lip. So there's my little lip on my vase, and we have vases that look symmetrical. Now, they look like they're floating in the air. So we're just going to draw that horizon line to make sure that our vases are on the ground. Now my horizon line is going to start from this side of my vase and go straight across and then go through there and through here and through here, right? So now we have our vases on the ground. So now we can create the psychedelic part of our work. We're going to create a curved line, any kind of curved line you want. We're going to create that curved line inside of my vase. So my curved line is going to go like this, right? Just like that. Anywhere you want. So now I'm going to mimic that same curved line. I'm going to make it parallel, but I'm going to keep on creating that same curved line. So here's my one curved line here. Here's another curved line here. We're going to copy that same curved line throughout the whole vase to make it like a psychedelic kind of vase. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Create that same curved line. Right? And then on this one, maybe I'll just do like maybe a simple curved line of like that. I'll keep that same curved line going all the way down. And then here, do the same thing, that curved line going all the way up to the top of my vase. And then this one, maybe we'll do a curved line going the opposite way, right? So let's do it going that way. And creating those parallel curved lines. That means they're the same distance apart from each other. And so try to keep that same pattern, right? Going up, up, and up. Work. All right. So now we have our vases, right? So now we could begin to put value inside of our vases using those curved, like using that curved line. So I'm going to use two colors. You can take two colors. I'm going to start with the one in the middle, right? So that you all can see. I'm going to start with the one in the middle. I'm going to use purple and blue. And so value is when you take, like when you take a color and then you kind of like, in painting, you would mix it with white in order to create a tint. Like I would mix this blue, if it was paint, I would mix blue paint with white paint, like a little bit of drop, and then paint. And as I drop more white into the paint, the blue becomes lighter. But coloring, we don't really have to use a white crayon. So I'm just going to press lighter to create that value, that tint of blue. So I'm going to start by pressing dark, really, really dark on the bottom. And then I'm going to go a little bit lighter. Right? And then as we cross across the bottom part of our vase, I'm going to go a little bit lighter and then a little bit lighter. Right? And we're going to do that across all of these lines of our vases to practice our tinting skills. Right? So tinting is when you mix it with white or you make it lighter. And then there's another type of value, which is shading, is when you mix the paint with black and you make the color, like I would make this color blue darker. But in this case, we're making it lighter. We're doing a tint, so let's make it lighter. And so each line we will start off really, really dark, right? And then just get lighter, press lighter and lighter on the crayon as we go across our curved line. And so now that I've done a little bit of blue, I'm going to do a little bit of purple so we can see the color difference. So here's my purple, and I'm going to press really hard on this side. I'm going to press a little bit lighter, and then a little bit lighter. as we go across, so you can see that. So I'm going to press really, really hard. Here's my purple again, really hard on the beginning. Then I'm going to press really, really light, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter as we go on. So it looks like there's barely any even purple there, right? Then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to press a little bit dark on the one side. Then I'm going a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter, right? So now I see that there's this line kind of forming. So I kind of want to blend it a little bit, just make it a little bit darker so that it blends well, right? So now you can see, yeah. So you find that some parts of your vase is like not that dark, then you can absolutely go back with that color. So here's my blue. I'm going to do blue again, just like maybe 2 curved lines. But I'm going to start really, really dark and then go lighter. Now you can pause if you feel like I'm going too fast and you want to see it, but I am actually repeating the same process with each curved line space that we have here. So that one's a little bit. So you can pause and stop whenever you feel like you need a little bit more. And I'm gonna go to another one, a little bit more time to create, okay? A little lighter and then a little bit lighter, right? And some blue, and then maybe one more blue, right? One more blue, darker. I'm gonna hold my crayon off the page. That's what I mean when I say lighter. I'm just holding my crayon a little bit off the page more. So that one is a little bit darker right here. And again, you can go back and create that value, right? And then I'm gonna go back and do the purple. So I'm gonna start coloring really, really hard, like pressing really, really hard on paper. I'm gonna press lighter and press lighter. And so we end up with a purple like that, a little bit darker right here. And then here's another one, a little bit darker, a little lighter and lighter. Right, so that's what we end up with. We end up with kind of like this psychedelic vase. If you want to go back, you can absolutely go back. Like I'm going to go back and do the bottom part. It looks like it needs some help, a little bit darker. Right, that looks a little, yeah, that looks better. So make sure you keep track of, which color you're shading or making lighter and darker. I'm gonna make this side a little bit darker. All right, yep, there we go. So there we got a little bit of shading going on. So I make this a little bit darker so that you all can see. All right, now it's starting to look like the light is coming from this side of the paper onto my psychedelic vase. So I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna use red and maybe purple, I'll use red and purple. So I'm gonna start by drawing the red on the bottom. Is this red? This is like a scarlet red. It'll work. So I'm gonna just do this scarlet red, right? Really, really dark. And then as I come across this curve, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter. I'm gonna use blue. So here's my blue, right? Really, really dark. And then as you come across, it gets a little bit lighter as you come across. It gets a little lighter. All right, so you see how that's a little lighter. Here's my scarlet again. And then it's a little bit lighter, pressing a little bit lighter, and then barely pressing at all, barely pressing a little bit lighter. Okay. And then I'm gonna go back to my blue. And then a little bit lighter. A little bit lighter. Pressing a little bit lighter as we go across. Right. And then we do the scarlet red again. Just a little bit more. A little bit lighter. And lighter as we cross the side. Right. So now we begin to see that there's more light on this one. Let me just do that a little bit darker. Right. And we're also going to come back to the blue and do the blue a little bit darker as well. So it takes some type of finessing, like you have to go back and forth. Take time and look at it to see if it looks like it's getting lighter, like gradually getting lighter. The gradient has to gradually get light. Like we don't want to just go from hard pressing to light pressing. It's a process. So it's going to take some time. So you're going to have to keep going back and looking at it, stopping, pausing, just to evaluate your work to make sure that you're hitting those values, right? You're hitting that tint at the right moment. And I'm going to do my orange. And then that should be lighter right there. And go a little darker right there. There we go. A little bit dark. And then my last one is the blue one. Oh, it's not going to be. Oh, that's the wrong blue. Oops, that's the wrong blue. Okay, I was using sky blue, right? Okay, so there's my blue again. Right, there's a little bit of tint there. So, because I created that a little bit darker, I'm going to go here a little bit darker, and then go here a little bit darker. Right, yeah, that'll do it. All right, so there we have two of them. So I want you all to finish your last one. If you need to pause and stop and go through the video again, actually, you can rewind it and go through it again. So I want you to color your foreground, like cover the table or the ground that the vases are on, and also color your background. You can put a pattern here in the background, but make sure that every inch of your page is colored, because every inch of your composition is important, right? So make sure no white spaces. The only white space that you should have is the inside of the vase, which if you really want to color it in, you absolutely can color it in as well. But I just kind of like wanted to leave it open just so that people can see that that is the inside of the vase. I think maybe you should just leave it white, right? So leave the top, the lips of the vases white, but make sure you color or make a pattern inside your foreground, which is the ground of your table that your vases are on, and color in your background, okay? So, and I hope you all had a wonderful time creating our psychedelic vases inspired by Johann Miro, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Have a wonderful day.